We got an exciting hunt for you today. We were back in West Virginia after a short trip to Ohio chasing public land bucks. We were in a ground blind setup, had Stubby from Stubby Outdoors running the camera for me, chasing a big 9-pointer that I called Mule Deer. He was consistent on trail cameras all summer and all fall, but little did we know that a big 10-pointer we're calling Stormbreaker was going to show up after only having him on trail camera one time, October 13th. So fast forward almost a month to November 10th, and we're set up on a cold November morning. Bucks are starting to chase. The action got on us quick. So you guys stay tuned. Thanks for watching 304 Outdoors and Stubby's Outdoors, chasing West Virginia mountain bucks. So we weren't in the ground blind for longer than 30 minutes when we had this young 10 show up, already cruising, scent checking for does. Unfortunately, it was not the buck we were looking for, but still an exciting encounter with a deer that I had not had a single trail camera picture of all summer. Brand new deer showed up, and we knew it was going to be a great hunt because the bucks were already cruising. So as the doe was working off, just off camera at 15 yards, Stormbreaker himself was standing there. You can hear me whispering, "Big buck, big buck, big buck." And I was turning on the GoPro with my phone. And as I'm moving to put the phone down to get my bow ready, the doe worked around an oak tree about 10 yards from the blind to our left and spotted us in there. And she was locked on us. So finally, after a couple minutes, the doe put 2 and 2 together and she busted out of there. At this time, Stormbreaker, who was at 15 yards, turned and walked out into the road at about 30 yards. I reached down, grabbed my bow, went to clip onto the D-loop, and this happened. So I picked my bow up, I'm getting ready to clip my release on, and this is again my fault for not being familiar with my equipment. When I went to clip onto the D-loop, I was applying pressure to the clamp, and as I did, it did not engage on the D-loop correctly. So when I went to pick the bow up and draw back the first time, the release came off. So then I fiddled around with it again, finally got it clipped on the D-loop again, and it still did not engage correctly because I was applying pressure. Fiddled around with it for a couple more seconds, and when I finally got the trigger and the clamp engaged at the same time, Stormbreaker was already on the other side of the road at 35 yards. Keep in mind, the doe had already busted out, so he was already a little alert. And when I drew back, he heard something he didn't like, and he busted out to 60 yards. So after watching the footage, you can tell that Stormbreaker did not know what was happening during this sequence. When he busted out to 60 yards, he turned and was actually looking beside the ground blind like he did not know where the sound came from. When I went to let my bow down to readjust, the arrow contacted the side of the ground blind, making a rattling sound. At this time, all 4 deer slowly trotted off over the ridge top. I threw out a couple grunts to no avail. They knew something was up with the situation, and they got out of there. So in turn, we got out of there too, went into town, grabbed a quick bite to eat, and hopped right back in for the evening set. And it was just as eventful as the morning. So we set all evening and had some awesome encounters with some young bucks. Stubby and I both thought that those young bucks chasing does around on that oak ridge was going to cause a more mature buck to get fired up and come in and see what the commotion was about. Unfortunately, it got dark on us. The does were still out in front of us, so we sat after dark for 15 to 20 minutes and slowly got out of there and did not bump any deer off. Overall, it was a super exciting hunt. We had a great encounter with a shooter buck. It was a hunt that I'll learn many lessons from in terms of this time of year. I need to have my bow ready. I need to be a little bit more sure with my equipment and a little bit more familiar with it. But hunting's hunting. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So we're getting right back in the woods. We're getting after them. We're going to be back in Ohio here soon. West Virginia rifle season's coming up, so hopefully everybody out there watching this is hunting and being successful, knocking deer down. Big shout out and thank you to Stubby for running the camera for me. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for watching. This is 304 Outdoors.